moving on now. What's the most unnecessary friction point you experience when moving between crypto and fiat?
This might not be applying to other countries, but in Japan, um, banking system is really strict. And even if you move your money, from your account to the other, um, even if that's your account, you cannot move your money if it's overseas bank account. And whenever I moved my money from, like in Japan to some of the payment solution in overseas countries, to the some of the crypto solution platform, I can't move. And also, if the business is crypto, some of the remittance is blocked, whether or not it's crypto or whatever. So anything related to banking, traditional banking, it's always very, very difficult. And also when we transfer or off-ramp crypto to fiat, we get the same issue. So anything related to the traditional banking, it's quite tough.
Yeah, I can totally resonate with that. I know for myself, on ramping on chain to be able to buy Ethereum or be able to buy whatever coin I'm looking for is just a nightmare with my bank in the United States. They always think it's fraud or they just straight up don't accept it. The verification processes has become so difficult and it's kind of frustrating. So hopefully we'll be able to make strides and where it just becomes a lot easier in that way because it's very, very frustrating to try to get money on chain and try to take it off through the banking system. It's
So people in the US, when send the money from the traditional banking system to on-chain, they have to go like through all the Coinbase and Kraken and send the money or send USDC to the wallet, or how does it work?
Yeah, so a lot of the times if I'm buying through Coinbase, they put a 7-day hold on all of those assets to ensure that there is no fraudulent activity taking place, and then they'll let me send it. It's kind of ridiculous. And if I want to use a just online on-ramp, not a centralized exchange, I have to go through this whole verification process, send in my social security number, send in my ID to make sure I am who I say I am. It's extremely difficult and can be extremely frustrating.
Wow, it's like you're all like locked in.
Yeah, literally. It's a nightmare. I have heard some pretty nightmarish cases to where people in the United States getting their paychecks or taking their investments off of chain into somewhere like Coinbase and Coinbase locking their account for fraudulent activity. They can't access those funds anymore and they can't really get in contact with Coinbase to be able to unlock their account. So always that nightmare kind of looming over my head. But it's kind of scary. It is very, very frustrating to be able to navigate crypto on ramp and off ramp in the United States. I'm sure there are easier options out there, but kind of wanting to stay inside the regulatory compliance sphere that has been put in place. But it's really, really frustrating. So hopefully soon we'll be able to see some strides taking place, and it'll be a lot easier for the United States to be able to do things like this.
Yeah, I for the US, like when I do need to send money inwards, like I I personally like my my thing is I actually try to keep my crypto I try to keep my crypto on chain as much as possible. And so sometimes I'll send US. So Coinbase is pretty good if that you receive USDC and trade out of it. As long as you're KYC'd and everything. Coinbase is pretty efficient on the inflow. And then I just try to not mess with the outflow that much. I try to just keep everything on chain. That's to me, that's the future of payments is you keep all your money sort of self-custodied. You kind of have an on-chain operation of your own, and then you just send inward when you need to go to the land, right? Or you use a crypto debit card, these sorts of things. And so yeah, Coinbase is good in the inward direction. It's the outward direction that really is the issue.
Yeah, the outward direction is a nightmare. I pretty much refuse to do outward transactions on Coinbase or really try to refuse to do them on any centralized exchange that I can. But hopefully it gets better. Hopefully it gets a little less frustrating. Hopefully it gets better here pretty soon. But let's move on to the next question. which is how important is privacy in your financial transactions?
This is a very interesting question. To me, so far I have nothing to hide, but why do I have to be transparent for everything, right? And especially I show my face to public, and a lot of people recognize my face, especially in Japan. So still, I think it's fine, but if the payment is something related to my kid's school or my mortgage payment, which probably could reveal my, addresses and so on. So for some of the very private and also important payment, I might need a privacy, which probably is not the case for at this moment. But I think at some point we all need such solution for the I think payment solution.
Yeah, absolutely. Great answer to that. Moving on to the last question here that we have for this discussion in this part of the Twitter space. And then we'll move on to more of an open floor discussion, which I'm really excited about. We have so many great people up here to be able to continue this conversation the best we possibly can. But the last question is, what would make you completely switch to a crypto first payment method?
Sorry, can you kind of rephrase the question?
Yes. So, what would make you essentially drop fiat altogether and go to crypto first as your one and only?
I want to do so anytime. The thing is, I think for the certain payment, which could be a tax or a lot of time mortgages and so on, they don't accept fiat payment directly from my bank account, and I can't put my crypto in the bank account, USDC or USDT or anything close. So as long as I can pay everything in crypto, I definitely love to pay most of the thing in crypto. But at the same time, I sometimes feel insecure, although most of my assets, most of my wealth is in crypto. What if or half of my or 1/3 of my wealth is being hacked? And it happens to some people, right? So from time to time, I try to kind of convert my crypto into some of the other assets to just keep everything safe for my family for the future or emergency purposes. But in terms of the payment, I want to pay everything or as much as possible in crypto because of the fee. Fees are a lot cheaper, convenience. It's a lot faster, and everything on chain, so I can track everything. So yeah, this is kind of how I think, but also some of the concern that I always have.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm personally really excited to move everything on chain as soon as I possibly can. I know it's a little bit more difficult here in the United States, but especially with something like the Black Card and its benefits, having up to 30% yield on assets via high yield DeFi vault, unlimited withdrawals up to 1 million USDT. Hopefully, one day I'll be able to touch that limit. No annual fees, low conversion fees, 0.3%, and 1% cash back is something that's very, very, very cool. And to see that all bundled into one card is very exciting. I have another credit card here with me, the Apple credit card, and it's great, but there just aren't a lot of features on it. And it's purely just to kind of build credit with and kind of sit back and relax with it. But with something like this to have so many benefits to it, really makes it worthwhile. It makes it valuable in a lot of different ways. So I'm personally really excited to go crypto first, crypto only, but just got to hope the United States catches up with a lot of different regions in the world and hope that regulations kind of bring it down a little bit so the world can really benefit from this, especially a lot of areas in third world countries. I know my whole family's from Ecuador, and crypto blockchain would absolutely change so many individuals' lives in that nation that it just needs to be explored. It needs to be something that we really push, and it's really near and dear to my heart to be able to make that happen. So just really interesting conversations on all fronts there to be able to bring this to everybody in the world.
Yeah, just a quick question. Some of the things or some of the services that the Morph Pay or this Black Card offers, are you gonna cover this or not really? Because I have a question about those like maximum 30% yield. I want to know kind of how it works and what are the conditions and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. Ask any question that you might have. I think the best suited up here to be able to answer something like that would be Colin. So if you're here, my friend, I'm sure that would be a great question for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we have a couple DeFi partners that that sort of provide a baseline stablecoin yield, and we're gonna share those details, as we roll this out. And then I think beyond that, it will also get kind of preferential access to ecosystem airdrops, sort of other sort of critical airdrops. And so, yeah, I think the yield is based on it's an exclusive vault just for the black card holders, and that will be based on a mix of factors, targeting that 30% yield. I do think we want to be careful of sort of guaranteeing a yield, but we are trying to introduce a high yield vault that will sort of exist as a broader part of the ecosystem. Yeah, I think if we guaranteed a return, right? I think we'd have hedge funds like aping into these black cards, right? And so yeah, obviously, there's no such thing as a guaranteed return. We do have sort of an ecosystem managing. We do have a team sort of managing our DeFi position and sort of our offering for the platform. But yeah, I think obviously we're somewhat careful of the language there, but yeah, it's a mix of kind of ecosystem rewards, kind of high yield DeFi protocols that we're connected to, and kind of bundling all of that into a vault to kind of bundle that return. If that makes
Cool.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Yeah. Of course.
It's a lot better of an answer than I would have been able to provide. So thank you so much for that, Colin. And let's move on to the discussion area of this. I mean, everybody on stage with the microphone available, please chime in at any point. I mean, it's a big topic to discuss about how NFTs, DeFi, and payments are all converging into one. It's come a long way, and we're seeing NFTs being put up as collateral in DeFi. A lot of things with NFTs, especially, it's gone a lot from just funny pictures of animals or cool pictures of animals into a lot of utility, and that's really exciting. So I would like to get everybody's thoughts on stage about how NFTs, DeFi, and payments are converging, and what we can expect and see in the future from this, or what you want to see in the future from all of this.
Yeah, I mean, for us, I think I think one of the things you talked about, right, was like um, what it takes to get kind of crypto native, to become kind of crypto native for payments, right? And so I think one audience I think that we really want to build for is there's a lot of people that kind of their economic life is already internet first, right? And it's not just crypto native, but it's like people all around the world that maybe they work remotely, maybe they're remote tech workers, but also maybe they're virtual assistants in the Philippines, maybe they're people that make income elsewhere online. And so I think for us, as we roll Morph Payout, like for us, it's kind of a comprehensive platform where we're going to offer a number of different services over time. Obviously, Morph Black is one of our first really big bets. But yeah, I think I think for us, it's like, can we foster and build for and grow the crypto native audience of the world, right? Like I think to me that's kind of something that's exciting about Morph Pay. Is it's not we are identifying this cohort of people that are kind of like native to the internet, not just crypto, right? And so yeah, I don't know. It's the team's been working really hard, and yeah, I don't know. I kind of monologued a little bit there, but yeah, I think Morph Pay is like a big bet for us, and so it's an exciting day.
So I think a lot of people today already mint the NFT, and obviously this is something I don't think people want to sell it, but if somebody wants to buy and somebody, you know, would try to sell, so that's the I think only way for for people who don't have a whitelist to get the NFT or the more black NFT.
Yeah, one thought I had was like, there's the standard sort of old adage about like your 1,000 true fans or your 10,000 true fans. So, there's kind of a couple other ways to target it, right? But I think in having the sort of black status as an NFT, it's like at any given point you actually have a proxy of who your top few thousand fans are, right? And the fact that kind of that trade can crowd out as we build over time, right? Like I think for us, it's like that is really the elite status in our broader ecosystem. And so, yeah, I think if we do our job right and really build that sort of internet first kind of internet economy worker audience, right? And we're building all these payment products and stuff for them. It's like over time, for us, this sort of black status would be a way to at any given point, we kind of have a good proxy for who the sort of most avid fans are, and so I think that's really what makes this the NFT is kind of the NFT is not just the card itself, right? It's kind of the status in the ecosystem, and so it is an attempt to kind of tokenize that elite status, if you will.
Cool. Thank you. And also, what are the reasons why Morph could offer such a like substantial conditions and also services? This is quite a similar to traditional, you know, like credit card, or even better, right? Like, what are the factors that made Morph, um, possibly offering those stuff?
I mean, for us, I think it's a number of things. I think we can't show we won't show our full hand here, just in terms of our long term roadmap. But um, we do, you know, this is a first bet in a broader payment ecosystem that we think could bring in a lot of value on chain. And so, this product is kind of, again, like a premium or elite tier in that broader payment ecosystem. And so for us, this is kind of a first taste. And so, yeah, we obviously work with, we have, in our network, we have kind of some partners that are sort of close financial, close partners that are sort of more traditional financial institutions that can help us sort of offer a Visa card like this. And so, I think we've done sort of our ecosystem team has done a good job sort of building these partnerships. And for us, it is kind of an investment in the ecosystem for sure. But I think there's a vision here of a much broader sort of on-chain payment ecosystem, on-chain consumer finance ecosystem. And yeah, this is just a first domino in that broader thing. Yeah.
Anyone else want to make some point or ask questions or?
I don't think I could have answered that question any better. Thank you so much for that, Colin. All right. Any more conversation on that topic, or shall we move on here? Once again, this is an open floor. If anybody wants to say anything, who has the microphone, feel free to unmute and speak about anything your heart desires.
Joey wants to implement an AI koala competition. He told me this. Joey, our creative director, he's on stage. He loves AI koalas, and he wants you to send him AI koalas, as many as you can, in his responses. It's his favorite thing.
Your mic might be muted there, Joey. On the hardware end, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the new GPT generator that I've seen, the Studio Ghibli stuff as well. I mean, it kind of just took off out of nowhere, which is really exciting. But I've seen some really, really cool stuff being made already.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we should. So the joke, by the way, for those in the audience is, we started making a bunch of AI koalas, and Joey and sort of a couple other members of the community team mentioned that there was a ban in our creator program about doing AI koalas, but that was under the old model. So now that the model is good, we can maybe start figuring out where to draw the line or redraw the line.
Yeah, we'll
I
see.
know
We'll revisit.
I'm veering off of payments quite a bit, but yeah, everyone's having fun on the sort of creator side. Yeah, Joey, I think we got you back there for a
Yeah,
second.
is my mic working now?
Yeah, there you
Sounds
go.
great.
Yeah, man, you know, you invest all this money into roadcasters and Shure microphones, and it just fails to work. I'm just going to stick with the good old microphone on my laptop. But yeah, what I wanted to say, Joe, was you know what we're doing with this product is, you know, when I was a young guy, you know, the desirable credit cards, Amex Platinum, Centurion, you know, I'm miles away from that, but you know, make something that's desirable to the people who make their wealth online and the internet digital nomad gang. You know, like you mentioned that your, you know, majority of your net worth's in crypto, and that's the same for me as well. And being able to access that without having to off ramp it. Right now, I live in Denmark, and you're only taxed on crypto when you sell it. So the workaround for this is, you know, you're not selling your crypto if it's on a card like Morph Black, and I can spend it directly out of my crypto wallet. It's technically not classed as not selling your crypto. So the off ramp and the seamless, you know, payment solution that it's offering is second to none. And I think offering it through an NFT, it attracts the digital sort of, you know, the internet elites that we're targeting. It attracts those people to want to be involved. So yeah, developing the product's been super cool, and watching it unfold, and the team's been working hard. You know, the entire Morph team, from design and product to the eco marketing, everybody's been, you know, hard at work developing the best product we possibly can. And the way in which it's going at the moment, just, you know, you can tell by how it's being minted by you know, by the people on the whitelist and with invite codes, that the product is there's something new there, there's something exciting. So I'm really hoping that the people that get a hold of this will enjoy it, and as much as we enjoy creating it.
Yeah, I'm super looking forward to receiving a physical card, which I don't know like when. But does anybody know how many countries, or how many countries is this card available, or you know, if
I think it's we can get the answer behind the scenes right now, but I think it's a global coverage other than, like, you know, sanctioned countries and stuff. But here, let me post in thread to make sure we get the exact count. But yeah, it's sort of a globally accessible thing.
which is kind of, I think, rare. Some of the existing crypto card was only available for certain countries or the regions, I guess. Some are only available for EU, and some are only available for, I think, Asia and so on. There are nothing really covering like so many countries. So I'm kind of surprised. I know you probably cannot like tell too much, but I think this is exceptionally quite a good products that everyone wants to have.
And speaking of which, just I guess while we're all on stage here, we've just crossed 1850. So over 1800 cards have been issued, which is obviously super exciting for us on this side.
Yeah, that's 800 just in this session alone. When we started, it was about 1,050. So 800 in just this session. That's absolutely amazing. And I want to welcome Sin City to the stage as well. If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself. Welcome to the party. We're having a lot of fun up here. We're just kind of shooting this. Well, don't want to curse on here, but shooting it around, talking, and having a little bit of fun. So introduce. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Shooting the shit. There we go.
You're allowed to say it.
Hey guys, what I missed?
A lot, but welcome here, and we hope that you can contribute to this conversation, and we're having a really, really great time. So go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody listening in.
Yeah, well, thanks for the invite to kind of talk with you guys. My name is David. I'm the founder and host of Sin City Crypto. We have a podcast studio here in Vegas, but we do a crypto news show in the morning, and then we also do some trading. We do like interviews, and so we like to just keep our community informed about the latest crypto trends and kind of how to make money. I was actually introduced to Morph through a friend, and of course, when you hear things like 30% yield, it's like, you know, that meme that's like the cat, and then like in the background is like faded World War II, like PTSD. And I'm like, oh, we've seen this before, right? With Luna and UST. And so, of course, I started digging in, and it's very intriguing. And I don't know if anyone's asked this question yet, but how does how do you earn that 30%? Because I think, especially for crypto native people, when you throw out large numbers like 30%, 40%, even like 20, 25%, the first question is, well, how? If it's possible in an ethical way, why aren't banks or other traditional financial systems doing it? And so I put myself in the shoes of the average person, and that would be the question I would ask. So I don't know if anyone's asked that question yet, or if it's been answered. If it has, I apologize. But for the average person who might be wondering, how are they getting 30%? How would you answer that question?
Yeah, so thanks for that, man. And we did in fact discuss this already. I want to be weary that we are targeting a high yield vault. We believe with a combination of kind of off other DeFi protocols that we can plug into, plus basically ecosystem tokens and stuff, we are going to try to achieve that. We are not we want to be careful in our language around guaranteed returns, right? We are not we are targeting a set of yield, but we are not yeah, obviously, like every hedge fund would ape into this if that were the case, but we are targeting a high yield vault. And that number is kind of in our team's projections, but it's not yeah, I think we want to be careful around guarantees, if you will.
No, that makes sense. I'm
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of curious, and
I think you should be very wary, to everyone listening, right? Be wary of anyone ever guaranteeing you a return, right? And we are not doing that. We are sort of forecasting and making projections, and yeah, we have our ecosystem team set up. We're plugging into a couple other DeFi protocols. We also have kind of an ecosystem that will be launching tokens and doing other things, and so this is kind of a compilation of a number of different activities we forecast over the next 12 months. And yeah, anyway,
well,
obviously, old timers should be very wary of it. You're correct in
here's the
raising that.
beauty. Here's the beauty of what you guys are doing. The baseline is so low. What are the banks giving you? Like 0.001%? You can be like, we're giving 2% yield, and everyone will be like, oh my god, that's really good. So it's just funny. I'm curious. I guess just like I have a question more for like maybe the Morph team or anyone who's maybe in the space. If the election in 2024, if that went the other way and it was more of a restrictive crypto kind of policy in Washington, is this something that would even be possible, or would it even be worth as a company, or if you're an angel or a VC, to invest money in a project that's doing what Morph is looking to do in the payment space? I mean, you look at the administration now. The first bill that's going to be passed is a payment slash stablecoin bill. Um, but I'm just curious if the result was different in November, is this something that would be here today? And I know you guys have been working on this for a while, but how would it be different? I guess is the question I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, look, I think certainly regulatory clarity helps a lot in the US. But on balance, Morph is a pretty global project. Like we have some American team members, but we're also kind of all throughout Asia and Europe as well. So you know, I think it's helpful for the Americans for sure. But like I think to the extent it was possible for other markets prior to the election, I think those would still be relevant for us post election. So yeah, look, obviously, predatory or vindictive sort of set of regulatory agencies in the U.S., changing their tune in a big way is certainly helpful. But I think I think we're still a very very globally focused product, right? And fundamentally sort of aligned with sort of we have very much a global mandate, right? So um, we probably would be more wary of in certain countries based on sort of regulation, but yeah, it helps for sure. But I think we'd probably still give a go at it. Um, yeah,
Wait, so there's other countries outside of the U.S.?
yeah.
Like
I've
so,
been told, yeah.
it's like sometimes sometimes you kind of you're in your own can and you forget. That's cool. Do you see this as something that other like larger financial institutions, maybe in like the traditional finance, are going to adopt and kind of plug into DeFi more as DeFi grows? What are you guys' thoughts on that? Is this something you feel like is going to be copycatted, or specifically by TradFi companies, not by crypto native companies?
Yeah, I mean, I hope they copycat us like several months after we succeed. So maybe. No, but look, I think for us, it's like, I said a little bit earlier, like there's a whole like internet economic class, right? That kind of lives their economic life online already. And I think for us, early on, like that can be a pretty huge audience. So I think for us, it's like we are trying to be not a financial institution, but we are trying to build kind of a financial platform for those people who don't really work in their national economies or in their fiat economies. They kind of work online. They probably know a lot about crypto and stuff. And so for us, this MorphPay platform, sort of this broader initiative around consumer finance, on-chain consumer finance, like for us, we're serving an internet native market that I think is going to be harder for a bank or a traditional financial institution to serve. And so, yeah, I think that's really where our head's been at, and that's this sort of the launch of this product is kind of a really big first step for us, in accomplishing that. I think there is like that crypto native, internet native, internet economic class like that. That's kind of we hope.
No, that makes sense. So I guess like a follow-up question to what you're talking about would be, what's the team's kind of strategy and plan to go after the new people that are coming into the space? Because someone like me, or I'm assuming a lot of the people on this panel who've been in the space for a while, can sit here and have a conversation about DeFi and yield and stable coins. What if you get someone new that's in the space? How, like, what's your guys' marketing plan, or how are you looking to capture that subset of retail, the newbies, the ones that are just coming in, that might be intrigued by crypto but maybe don't have as much of a in-depth knowledge about the space and some of the services?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm going to probably go back to the answer, similar to the answer I had around regulation, which is like countries outside the U.S. Right? So our team is very global, and in particular, to introduce myself, I joined a few months ago, to lead growth at Morph, and my background's actually in kind of on the ground adoption in Southeast Asia. So I led Binance's business in Southeast Asia, as well as Yield Guild, which is kind of a really large Web3 gaming guild. And so and then we have a bunch of other team members from that sort of emerging market exchange space, few other sort of really on the ground sort of on chain initiatives. And so for us, I do think that a huge wave of crypto adoption is going to come from countries that have an unbanked population, have people that are kind of, to the point about sort of that economic tier of people that are internet first in sort of their economic life, right? Whether that's crypto or not, right? To me, I think a lot of that is going to exist outside of the U.S., Europe, sort of a little bit more established economies. And so, as it relates to onboarding retail, it's like there's a bunch of great markets where, you know, people are going to be crypto first, right? Like the stable, it doesn't need to be Bitcoin or Ethereum or Sol first, but like they're going to be stablecoin first at the very least, right? And so for us, you know, I think that's going to be a big wave that we hope to surf. And so, yeah, I think we're going to be well equipped. Sweet.
Yeah,
Is everyone
awesome.
sending Joey the AI koala pics? I think he really wants to see those in his mentions.
As much as humanly possible. Get an AI to generate them for you as well, and an AI to post them.
Dude, I'm so confused by this Ghibli thing. What is that? Like, what's the backstory? I feel like that dad that the kids are like talking this new lingo, and then they start talking. And you're like, what are you even talking? What the hell?
All
What?
right.
Where did this even come from?
All right. So I know the full story on this. So obviously, Studio Ghibli is. This is such a tangent. I hope it's gonna be funny that the audience is listening to this. But yes, okay. So Studio Ghibli is like this exalted old, basically this master sort of animator from Japan, Hayao Miyazaki. Has Studio Ghibli. He's really made these like timeless classic films that have a very distinct art style. ChatGPT recently updated its 4.0 model, and then there was this guy who basically had a tweet go viral saying that he sent photos to his wife of them as Ghibli characters, and then everyone just latched onto it, and then for some reason, it just captured this weird viral momentum in a way that rarely happens, you know, in a particularly rare way. And now everyone's just doing Ghiblis, including myself, by the way. I have a
There's
bunch of
got to be a
micro.
token, right?
Yeah.
There's got to be a meme coin
Oh,
someone
I'm sure. I
created.
think there totally
Okay.
is. Yeah, there totally is.
Shocker.
I'm not gonna mention it or post the contract address, but there is.
Yeah.
And now there's the backlash. There's people tired of it. There's people saying it's disrespectful to Hayao Miyazaki. That, you know, it's anything that goes in momentum one way has, you know, the backlash and all that stuff.
Oh
And
yeah.
so yeah, we're like 24, 36 hours into the giblification of the internet.
Giblificate. Well, thanks for that
Actually,
breakdown. I
it's quite
appreciate it.
worrying that the model now can spit. I don't know if you used the model for image generation prior to this, but before you'd put in text, it can generate infographics, and now the accuracy that it's generating when it comes to text and graphic design and illustration is going to put people like myself out of jobs if I don't keep up with the tech. So I'm hard at work putting every single extracurricular hour I have into learning AI purely so I'm within a job within the next year. So it's quite scary. As cool as it is, it's quite scary for devs and artists. So yeah, we'll see what the future holds. And it's still not generating accurate images of our character Morphe. So I still get to illustrate that.
Have you guys seen the viral tweet? I think it was from Jason like a long time ago saying if you're in crypto, pivot to AI, and that was like right before crypto like came roaring back. We're the crypto we're in crypto pivoting to AI in real time on stage here. But yeah, anyway, cool. That's yeah, we're Joey had previously had a ban on koala images, and so now that there's a new model, we're gonna see if there's some good ones.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to see what individuals can create, especially with this new AI model that come out. I have yet to try it, but
I know we've
I think I accidentally muted
I know
myself.
we've derailed it a little bit, but I'm in the middle of turning the Studio Ghibli Spirited Away iconic scene where she's in the train into hyper realistic. So, you know, we're all stealing the Ghibli artwork. While, you know, why not bring them into the real life? So I'm going to see if I can generate that scene in real time, sort of live action footage.
Oh yeah, that's really cool. I'm not too well versed in
Don't
AI,
worry,
so
don't worry, Colin.
like I said, I've yet to try it.
This is in my spare time, Colin. It's in my lunch break.
All right, but let's kind of get back on topic here. I know we had a little bit of a rant on Studio Ghibli and the things that AI are able to do, which is cool, scary, and all of the things in between. But I guess let's get back on topic. We did have a lot of talk about just crypto payments and crypto fiat interface and all the discussion on that. And it was a really interesting perspective to get Joe to come on and speak about these things. You know, all over the world, it could be very different for so many individuals. My case is not going to be the same as Joe's, as Colin's, as Joey's. It's it's always really, really cool to see. But moving on into the next session, we talked about just ecosystem integration and the value of a lot of different things. The discussion about how NFTs, DeFi, and payments are all converging together, especially nowadays. And especially with NFTs, I feel like NFTs have taken a huge step forward. Instead of being some pictures of monkeys that people think are really cool, it's now turned into real utility, really cool things, tickets to events. And a lot of people are talking about putting a lot of documentation on chain. So a lot of individuals can just have it there and it be available easier, and a lot of different things like that. But it was a really, really cool discussion, and I'm really excited to see how it progresses in the very near future, because it seems like we've taken a huge step forward here recently in the entire industry, for just utility of everything. And I'm really excited to see how that goes. Once again, this is an open panel, so if anybody wants to say anything at any moment, just unmute your mic and start shouting. But let's see where this takes us. And Morph Black has now sold about, let's see here, almost to 1900 at 1879, which is incredibly cool. We started out this session and it was around 1050. So to add on an extra 830 or so to that number is awesome. I want to thank everybody for being here today as well. If you did miss a little bit of this session, it has been recorded. You can go back and listen to it at any point, but stick here for now before it is posted so you can hear the end of the session as we move on into the next topic. So any thoughts on NFTs, DeFi, payments, how they're converging, how they're progressing, and how we're advancing? Anything at all?
I think it's super cool that, you think back like 100 years and some of the big revolutions that happened, and you're like, what, the people that went through it, like, how was it? And then we're literally us now, like, as collectively, we're going through this large kind of upheaval of literally everything between AI, finance, how we transact online. And so it's kind of cool to see it happen in real time. So I think, like, 100 years from now, people are going to be like, wow, when that happened, when my home title, when I was able to buy a home, uh, and have the money go through and get my keys in a day versus 30 days because of NFTs and because of, having everything on chain and everything being cheaper. I think it's pretty cool. And so, I guess I kind of wanted to maybe ask, because I plan on sharing some of this info with my community when we do our show. Is how do you see Morph kind of morphing? So cheesy. How do you see Morph kind of growing and expanding with kind of the trend of the market and where we're headed, maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What does the space you're operating in look like, and how are you guys planning on grabbing a lot of that market share?
Great question, Joey. We need that soundboard so we can do the when he did the morph one. But no, yeah. Look, long-term market share here. Um, the original vision, and it remains the vision, is to be a consumer layer, right? So we do want to be, ultimately we want, a lot of applications that people use on a daily basis, in their everyday life. For us, the first pillar of that sort of broad consumer adoption, where people are, really using Morph on a daily basis, is this vision of on-chain consumer finance, right? So that's going to be payments. It's going to be, sort of things that feel a little bit more like Web 2 payments, integrated with DeFi, integrated with stable coins, integrated with a handful of other pretty big bets we're going to make, in that sort of consumer finance corner. So we hope for that to kind of be a first step. But the original vision is still the long-term vision, and that's to have Morph as the global consumer layer, right? And so, the founding team has kind of been insistent upon that from the beginning, and that really is the long-term vision here. It's like, I think over time we're going to have, blockchain. I think there's going to be a need for digital scarcity in everyday life, right? And digitally enforced scarcity in everyday life. And so, I think there's a lot of, like, sort of long tail applications there. And then again, part of it is just this emerging internet class, right? And I think that's going to be a group that becomes more and more prominent in the coming 5 years, 10 years, what have you. And so if we're sort of locked in and sort of serving that cohort right as it grows and in critical markets, I think I like our prospects for sure. Cool. Reed, I think we're hitting time here.
Yeah, I believe we are. So that was a 1 hour session. So I want to say thank you to everybody who joined us on stage today. It was an absolutely great discussion, and we talked about a lot of things, Morph Pay, Morph Black. We talked about a lot of things, just a part of the ecosystem as a whole with the crypto fiat interface and the ecosystem integration and things of that nature. So I am going to go ahead and round out here today
Real
by
quickly,
talking about the benefits.
real quickly, sorry. If you guys see on the Jumbotron, or just sort of in the part above here, we did post the official sort of OpenSea link for Morph Black. I think just be wary of scams, right? Like or people sort of creating duplicate products. Obviously, you don't want to be buying a fake NFT. And so yeah, we just look for the link through our official channels. There's one right above here. And then of course on the main Morph page. But yeah, Reed, sorry, take it away. I just had to cut it.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. So always verify links before you do press them with pretty much anybody on the team or just through our official channels. Like Colin said, it's very important that you keep your assets and yourself safe and that you're not buying fake products. So thank you so much for that, Colin. But as we round out here, some features about the Morph Black card, which we have just launched the pre-sale of, which is 30% up to 30% yield on assets via high yield DeFi Vault, unlimited withdrawals up to 1 million USDT, no annual fees, low conversion fees, 0.3% for crypto to cash, 1% cash back on every purchase, and private butler service, which is really exciting. We hope that all of you who were able to get a code, all of you who were able to get a link for this private round mint, were able to go ahead and mint that for yourselves. We do have 3,000 NFTs available at 0.2 ETH each. And I think there are only about 1,100 left on the mark. Yes, about 1,100 left. So if you do have one of those codes, get one before they run out. Benefits of the code, which is a 5% discount for minters, 6% cash back for affiliates, in one-time use unique codes. So go ahead and use those codes. Go ahead and get those links in. There are about 1,100 cards left, so we want you to go ahead and use those as quick as you possibly can. And like I said, there were 3,000 of them available at 0.2 ETH a piece. So that'll round out that session. And I want to thank everybody for being here on stage, being able to talk with us. Sin City, thank you so much. Joe, thank you so much. If you have any final words rounding out, now would be the time to go ahead and say those.
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. It was a really interesting, product, and also it was very, very interesting opportunity to discuss about such a new product, new opportunities in new market. And yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate the invite to come up here and kind of chit chat with you guys. I think it's something very exciting. I think it's a space that a lot of people understand as far as a crypto connection to payments and stable coins. And so I think you guys are onto something really good. And I'm excited to see how this plays out. I think the timing is perfect, at least from a United States perspective. I think the timing is perfect. Yeah, the Robinhood banking thing that was announced yesterday, there's a lot of hype around that, changing the way people interact with their banks, with their money. And so excited to see how everything plays out here.
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely very excited as well to get Morph Black and Morph Pay as a whole out to everybody we possibly can. And again, want to thank both of you for coming on stage today. I want to thank the audience for coming up here. Once again, you can go back and listen to the recording if you joined late, if you had to step out for a second, or if you missed some parts of that. So go ahead and feel free to go back and listen to that. And we hope you have a great rest of your week. We hope you have a great weekend. And we hope this was a very valuable session for you. And we'll be back on Spaces very, very soon. Take care, everybody. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Hi, guys.